No matter how small the debt is or how small the amount of money that has been demanded, it is a huge impact for the family members involved, and we are determined, as I say, to tackle it. And no matter how small the amount, we ask people to come forward.
But many drug counsellors and community workers don't believe this so-called war on drugs works. And over 100 of them are now calling for a new approach, including legalisation.
Hold up here. RT, where are these people, like? Do you know? Where are these people? Why aren't you giving these people a voice, like?
The Garda Commissioner said...
No, we'll go back to the Garda Commissioner again.
I don't believe that we would just see the absence of organised crime groups. Should we legalise all of these drugs tomorrow, there'd be huge public health issues,
scare tactics,
ongoing crime issues as well.
Gardaí say this operation is about disrupting the business model of organised crime groups by targeting their drug markets in local areas and instilling confidence in the Gardaí. However, those working with community groups in those areas are becoming increasingly frustrated at what they see as the inability of the state agencies as a whole to tackle the ongoing drugs problem in their areas. Paul Reynolds, RTE News, Dublin.
So that's RTE News' contribution, I suppose, to it. Like, but it's an absolute joke in fairness. It's man, Bhagwan son, they don't have a clue, man. You're hitting the nail on the head. They don't. They're spouting complete nonsense when it comes to our approach to dealing with drug use in our society. Again, we look at alcohol, we look at tobacco. While there's harms associated with these drugs, the regulation of them reduces those harms. The education around these drugs helps people. Hell, let's look at sugar, man. Educating people about sugar consumption is fucking one great way in order to reduce the harms around that drug. And banning it is not. Imagine if we banned all like sugar, white sugar, that granulated stuff, because it's addictive if anything, man. Do you know, imagine if we done that, and then kids out there selling all sorts of crazy shit out then, what a mess we would be making. No, man, regulation works. Recreational drug use labelled as a dangerous misnomer. Are you serious to ours, man? What about the prohibition? The prohibition of drugs is a seriously dangerous policy that's after empowering organised crime gangs to amass multiple millions of euro in order to corrupt their police force. That's what's happened because of prohibition. That's how dangerous prohibition is. But you won't go on and talk about that. RT won't even have on any of the 100 of campaign of the, what do they call them, youth workers who've called upon the government to legalise and regulate these drugs, in order to end this prohibition that sees the Gardaí targeting quite often or not the younger communities, younger members of these communities. And as they say in Operation Tara now, they're unashamedly admitting that's who they're going targeting now, So you got your young fella above there walking around in whatever housing estate, Darndale, that's one that comes to mind there, and he's got his Canada Goose jacket, and he's now going to be stopped and searched by the cops to see if he's dealing, because, if you've got a Canada Goose jacket, you must be dealing, if you got a flashy watch there, you must be dealing, it's not just a gift for your mum and dad for Christmas, no, you're a drug dealer and you're going to get stopped and searched now. And they talk about trying to reinstill fucking faith within the Gardaí and the communities. Man, the prohibition of drugs has driven a major wedge. They couldn't be further apart, the Gardaí and the communities. It's ridiculous. Guys, nice one, Mustawiz and Bhagwan son saying that we are soft on the government, time for change. Guys, get up. Fight for this. We are on the right side of the argument here in terms of calling for change to end this prohibition. This prohibition has done nothing but empower organised crime gangs to recruit our kids into their ranks, and it's sickening. It's sickening to see how many young people have lost their lives over the years that could have been avoided. The young people who've lost their lives because of contaminated drugs when MDMA is PMMA instead of it being what it should have been. That's ridiculous. When people are getting cocaine cut with even more dangerous bloody chemicals, it's just ridiculous. And the lad's talking about a health-led approach. If you really want to have a health-led approach, Frank, talk to the people who went to Portugal there a number of years ago. There was a number of members of the Irish government went to Portugal on a fact-finding mission on the benefits of decriminalisation, And again, as we highlighted with Graham de Barracassis, the drug ass here on the show through the Support Don't Punish special, there's been many benefits, such as mobile drug consumption rooms, where drug users can now come and use their drug in a safe space where they're given access to clean supplies. If you're an injecting drug user, which is probably one of the more vulnerable communities of people who use drugs out there, they're given access to clean needles. But more importantly, to the wider community, they're given access to bins. And then those bins, which is even better again afterwards, those bins, they go and test the needles then afterwards. You know, they can test the substances that the drug users have used at the mobile drug consumption rooms. And then they can relay that information back to the users to kind of say, hey, come here, look, some of the heroin that we tested there are some of the drugs that you were injecting, whether you were injecting cocaine or whatever it was, crack cocaine. You know, that was contaminated with X, Y, and Z, like, you know, that's fucking incredible stuff to be able to do. And this all benefits of decriminalisation. That's just decriminalisation. They're not even providing access to the drugs and doing that, like, and that in itself would provide an even and I don't know how to even put it, you know, just a major layer of protection to consumers of drugs in our communities, because it's just completely absent now. Yeah, I'm gonna blaze up another bowl there before we get stuck into the next one, because the next headline, guys, is a really depressing one. Like, I shared it about there earlier on Twitter. So this is a little self-medication here now to help me deal with what is going to be a horrible story next. Not as horrible as some of the other stories, I suppose, you know, but it's just another form of discrimination because of cannabis. So it makes me want to have a bowl.